Hey guys, it's Twisted Auto Garage here with another video. Today we're going to be working on my Red 3000 GT. We're going to be doing just some basic maintenance to it. Today's just going to be your basic oil change. We're trying to prep the car for just some long trips and things like that. And when we first got the car, the oil was in good enough condition where we just were like, ah. And then we didn't drive it for you know, a good amount of months, and we just never got around to really doing it. We added oil because it was a little low when we got it, but the oil condition, things like that, was okay to drive it around, drive it home, things like that. But we just never really got around to it, but we're doing it today. So the tools that we'll need for this, obviously, if you're doing this at home, you gotta jack up the car. I'm skinny-ish, but my car's not the lowest, but it needs to be jacked up. So anyway, we're gonna be using some Mobil 1 10W30, some high mileage oil. Then we'll be using a K&N HP-1004 oil filter. I like to use these just because they're easy to get off with a wrench. We recently did an oil change on the truck over there, and the previous owners put a cheaper oil filter on there, and it just would not come off for the life of me. So if yours is stuck on there like my truck was, you're going to need an oil tool or an oil filter removal tool. I just basically get these clamps because they're kind of universal, and I can use them on my truck, the 3000 GT, Tiburon, the VR4, anything. As far as your oil drain plug, that's a 17 mil, and I'll go ahead and show you where that's at. So if you're standing in front of the Mitsubishi like this, then you need to go ahead and jack up the car, lower it on jack stands, get your pan ready, and then just basically go straight down. And then I know it's very kind of rough to see, but anyway, you'll see the oil drain plug right here, and then you'll see your oil filter right there. You basically can get those little clamps and then give this thing a good turn. And usually most people just get them nice and snug, so they're pretty easy to get off. But sometimes if you haven't changed the oil in a while, they're kind of tough. But anyway, you want to take this off. You want to undo your drain bolt whenever you got the pan down here. And also we have a crush washer or a little gasket for the oil drain plug. So anyway, I think we can go ahead and get started. Not sure what you guys are going to be able to see because you know, we're kind of working in tight spaces. Also, some people say you should, when you're draining the oil, you should take off the oil cap. I guess let air kind of help push out some of the oil and crevices. We'll do it just to make them happy. But anyway, alrighty, well, let's get started. Alright guys, now that we drained all the oil out of our 3000 GT and we checked it for metal flakes, there's no metal flakes in our oil, so we are good to go. It definitely needed an oil change, but you know, we were good to go. You probably saw in the video, you need to make sure that you are holding your oil filter so it doesn't just fall down in the pan like it did to me and ruin my shorts. But lesson for today, don't be wearing tan shorts when you're doing an oil change. So anyway, gonna give you guys another good look under here. This is of course the oil filter. It's slowly dripping out of there, the rest of the oil that was in the pan. We're also going to be using today the gasket for the oil drain plug. They're like $2 at your local AutoZone. Worth the investment so you don't lose all the oil out of your car. We're going to be adding 4.5 quarts of 10W30, and then the way you can tell on these jugs is it's marked down here. This side's liter and this side's quart. This is a total of 5 quarts, so it should be everything we need for it. But anyway, we're gonna clean that up a little bit and start installing the new parts. So So I went ahead and filled it with oil. I didn't do exactly 4.5 quarts. Reason being, there's going to be oil that's left in the system, and it's easier to add oil than it is to remove oil now that we have it all kind of set. And also, you can see that right there underneath the oil cap is kind of oil that's leaking. So my valve cover gaskets, at least on the first one right here, are failing. So I'm gonna make another video on how to basically fix that issue by replacing both valve cover gaskets. That's just gonna be a part of the maintenance that we do on this car. The way you can tell, sorry, I'm just gonna set this guy here. The way you can tell that you've basically have added a certain amount to the oil, I showed you guys earlier. I'm gonna take you guys in the garage. So here's a messy surface, but a somewhat level surface. So anyway, you guys can see the different tick marks and things like that. And when you look down at the bottom, you see a darker little spot. That's where the oil level is. And if we did 4.5, then it would be about halfway from here to nothing. But you see where we didn't do a full 4.5. We basically put 4 quarts in there. There's still oil in the system, and I would prefer to have a little bit more oil, so we will add some. I just want to go ahead and clean up our mess, get it on the ground, and then start her up, and then we'll check the oil. And I would assume you guys have been under the hood before because you have a 3000 GT, but this is where the oil dipstick is, so this is what we'll be checking. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start cleaning her up. So we went ahead and cleaned up, soaking the ground with some nice oil. Just kidding, there's nothing dripping out of there. If you guys do need to recycle your oil, your local AutoZone or other parts stores, I know they do take the oil filters, and once that thing's full of oil, you can dump it off there. As far as antifreeze goes, and you want to go ahead and bring that to like your local dump, and usually they can recycle it there. Anyway, so we went ahead and cleaned it up. There's nothing else underneath. We're gonna go ahead and drop the car. And then there we go. So what we need to do is, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but my driveway is at an angle. So we're not gonna get the most accurate reading from the oil with the basic setup that we have. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically cut it on, move it backwards, and then move it over there in that cul-de-sac so we can get a good shot of level. So, all right. So we went ahead and pulled this car out. This is as level of surface as we're gonna get for right now. but we're gonna go ahead and check the oil and just see what level it's at. Like I said, I want a little bit more than it should be for oil pressure reasons, and for the gasket failure. You want to go ahead and clean off your rag. Like I said, this is not the most level service, but we should get a somewhat accurate reading. So you can see right there, that's where the oil kind of stops, and we want to kind of get it up to these the little notches. This should be cold, or this should be low, and this should be high fill. And having it right there in between, we're actually at a pretty good level. What you want to do is you just want to periodically check on it, maybe when you get to more level surface. Also check for any leaks. If you have the AC running, since the AC is right there by the oil filter, what I've noticed is another 3000 GT that I've seen before, when the AC, you know how they leave puddles by your car, if you were using the AC a lot, what you'll see is the water that comes out will kind of touch the oil, and then you'll think you have an oil leak. But after a while, that will slowly go away. Just make sure you're checking your oil and you're looking at your oil pressure gauge, as long as it's not faulty. As you can see underneath the car, we have no immediate leaks. Everything looks dry underneath here. So that's a good sign. Just throw a piece of cardboard under the air if you're going to keep it in your driveway, just to make sure. But sounds like we can go ahead and cut her on and break it in.